Alright, let's look at 14, 15, 16, and 17, all concerning factoring. So as we look at number 14, the first thing you should notice is we have a cube, we have difference, so we should automatically think difference of cubes. This happens to be one of my favorites. So first, can you rewrite these as cubes? Well, this could become 2x cubed, and the 27 can become 3 cubed. So since we're able to rewrite it like that, we should write our formula. So it's a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. And since we've already broken it down, we can just go ahead and let this is a, this is b, and just replace everything. And so this is going to become a is 2x, b is 3, so 2x minus 3. And for the video I'm going to show you guys, I'm just going to do step by step. So a is 2x, so this is going to be 2x squared plus ab, and so a is 2x, b is 3, and then plus b squared. And now I just simplify. So this gives me 2x minus 3. 2x squared is 4x squared. 2x times 3 gives me a positive 6x. And 3 squared gives me a positive 9. So a couple of things if you want to just check to see if you got it right. Take the first term, 2x multiplied by the first term, 4x squared, that should equal 8x cubed, and it does. Take the last term, negative 3 times positive 9, that should equal negative 27, and it does. So hopefully, more than likely, we factored that correctly. Alright, number 15, as we look for factoring, you could start with the GCF, and so the GCF we have here is a 2, so let's take a 2 out of everything, and so we get 2x cubed plus 2x squared minus 9x minus 18. And so since we have 4 terms, we're going to try factoring by grouping. So cut it in half. And look, what do x cubed and 2x squared have in common? And so I can take an x squared out, and I'm left with x plus 2. And so now since these are both positive and these are both negative, I want to see if I can write it so that my binomial here will be positive. So I'm going to take a negative out, and so what do 9 and 18 have in common? So I can take a negative 9 out, and so that turns that into a positive x and a positive 2. And then don't forget we have this 2 on the outside. Alright, so since these, the x plus 2's are the same, I can rewrite it. X squared minus 9, x plus 2, bring the 2 down. And so now be careful, you're not done. You always rinse and repeat, you always go back to the start. Can something be factored? And so you're looking at this x squared minus 9, and hopefully you recognize that's difference of squares. So this becomes x plus 3, x minus 3, and x plus 2. So one of the most common mistakes students make is they don't check their work. So if I go x times x times x, I get x cubed, but something's wrong because it should equal 2x cubed. And that's because most of the time students will forget to bring that 2 down. So now 2 times x times x times x gives me that 2x cubed. And you can do the same thing for the last term. 2 times 3 is 6, times negative 3 is negative 18, times 2 is negative 36. So that looks good. Alright, over here we have x cubed plus 125, so can we write this as cubes? That's good. And then does something cubed give us 125? The answer is yes, 5. 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. And so now we should write our formula. A plus B, and then A squared minus AB plus B squared. And so this is going to be our A, this is going to be our B, and so this becomes x plus 5 x squared, and A is x, the B is 5, this is a step you could probably do in your head, but I'm just writing it out for the video. So we get x plus 5 x squared minus 5x plus 25. Do your quick check. X times x squared gives us x cubed. 5, positive 5 times a positive 25 gives us a positive 125. So that looks good. Alright, so now on to 17. Start with your GCF. What do 4 and 32 have in common? So you can take out a 4. And now look at the x's. So they both have an x. So you can take out the lowest degree. So let's take out the x squared. And so when I factor this out, I'm left with x cubed. 32 divided by 4 gives me 8. I took the x squared out, and so now I just have x cubed minus 8. So now we have another difference of cubes. So I'm going to rewrite my formula again. And so this is just x cubed. This is just 2 cubed. So x is my A, 2 is my B. And so this is going to become x minus 2. And so a squared is just going to be x squared. AB is just x times 2, so we'll just go ahead and write 2x. And then b squared is just 2 times 2, which is 4. And so now we feel all happy inside. We go to check our answer. Take the first times the first. X times x squared gives us x cubed, which doesn't line up to 4x to the 5th. And the reason is because when we started this, we had this 4x squared, and then we saw the x cubed minus 8, and we went over here and did our difference of cubes. So we can't forget about that 4x squared. That's still a factor, so we're going to rewrite everything now. 4x squared times x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4. Now do your check. 4x squared times x is 4x cubed. 4x cubed times x squared gives us 4x to the 5th. Now the last. 4x squared times negative 2 is negative 8x squared. Negative 8x squared times the last 4 gives us negative 32x squared. Now that's not a complete check, but it's just a quick check to see if you're right. If you finish early, then you could actually come back and multiply everything out.